Hello, and thank you for your patience for being with me while I'm getting these podcast short videos. This won't be a long one. This should be maybe within relatively, 5 to more minutes. But I wanted to congratulate you since you have minutes for and just the basics of setting up. And one of the reasons why I am happy that this is going out because there's certain things that can be frustrating when you're studying something and you're not very comfortable with the subject or a little bit, of that knowledge. And you just want to exploit that as much as you can to, and again, it does depend on how it's presented to as well. But now that we're in the course in the second steam, now that you have aware of a software or access to software, either personal or online, for your midpoint journey or midpoints journey, we there's one more thing I'd like to add to as well, if I haven't mentioned it in the first one. It is the dial. Now, the dial is used in both systems, meaning cosmology and Uranian astrology. And it is a visual asset and it's a great tool. The sort that we're getting, the SORT, sort, 90-degree sort, we're going to start with. There are others, the 22.5 degree and the 45 degree is the other one. But these really come when you're really focusing and comfortable with the 90-degree dial, or you still may have to do a little correction, but you're going to get used to that. The graphic ephemeris, I have some short videos on that one, on the graphic ephemeris, and we will get into it later on in the course. But again, so now that you have these assets, and we're not going to, I'm just putting that in the future, we're going to use the dial, but no worries. It's not necessary. Even if you don't want to use it, you can still get credible amount of information from the sort, which is going to be the 90-degree sort. So I'll try to keep as much in terms of any questions or anything that I may have missed or maybe you feel that I didn't explain thoroughly. Please feel advised to give me a comment. I will see what area that I had to revise. Okay. Now that we have that, the sort that you have, you're going to look at again. The first one I would say is the sun and moon midpoint, and that will be discovered where you will see the symbol or the sigil of the moon, which is like a crescent, which it will be in certain cases, or they may use a letter, and that could be MO. And the other one is the sun, which is the sigil is the dot encompassed by a circle. So you'll see a circle with a dot in it. Or again, you may see the letter S like in Sam, U like in us. And that will represent the sun. Now, in the abbreviated notation, these two, now you're going to make a note of it. First, I'm going to use another dial, and that should be the first one that you may want to look at first, and that is the 360 dial. And that what it means is the whole encompassing degrees from the zodiacal, from Aries to back to Aries, which goes in sequence: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and the likes. And you're going to look at your 360 sword and look for that particular midpoint. There are many of them. There are about approximately 88 of them that you will see, including that if you're not using Uranian, of course, you're going to have more because you're going to use what they consider a trans-Neptunian planets. And is regarded, depending on what school it is, hyper-theoretical to some of this discovery, but it remains to be seen now with so many discoveries of different planets we have now seen, new additional rather. Um, it may coincide. So let's see how that represents itself later on in time as it plays itself out. And once you found that degree, and we're going to use the example of 19 degrees Cancer will be your midpoint, and it will have a notation. If you see more than the number 19 or whatever, you'll see another set of numbers. You'll see two sets of numbers. Either it's followed with a zero with a number, or 00, or it'll be zero and up to nine. And then, as you increase, you go to the next number sequentially would be 10. So that's one side. And that's going to be to the third. You're going to have a left side of it, and then you have a right side of two bundles of numbers. Got that one out crooked. Um, and the other two sets of numbers, and that will be to the right side. Those are the minutes. So you're looking at it now. It's not a big thing if this seems Greek and all that stuff. But if you're familiar with looking at charts, or familiar with looking at your chart personally, and looking at charts online or whatever, friends and family, you are going to see those particular sequence of numbers, degrees on the left side, and to the right side, these two sets will be on the right side will be minutes. And they can vary as any numbers. But let's say, for argument's sake, 19 degrees Cancer and 2 minutes. So you'll see 19, 19 on the left side, and the other side you will see 02, which is 2 minutes. And from that, you make a notation wherever that is. Look in your own horoscope, find where it's at, and you will see what house, and the sign, so you can see that. So anytime you want to start labeling this, and this going back to the first one, 1.1, we are starting with that 19 degrees and 2 minutes, I believe. And that one is where you're going to look at the, like, first one, 101, we're going to use the 45 and the 45 multiples of the number or degree. So, for example, you would have to see 45 degrees counting from, let me see, from 19 degrees Cancer, and you will get one mark and make that a notation, whatever degree it is. And eventually I'm going to have a screen so you can see the illustration, because I think it's a little bit abstract just to talk about the numbers without visually seeing them. And that's going to be a notation. And then you're going to make the next notation. 45 plus 45 is 90. And that'll be the first square. So the square from 19 degrees Cancer will be on both sides. It will be either 19 degrees Libra or 19 degrees Aries. Anytime those particular, including the 45 degrees, which is roughly, it would be in cardinal fixed sign, right? It would be an immutable sign. It would look at, you will look at sensitive points. There is the other one, we call it, because now that we have that degree, we consider that from prior to our other first bill is the axis. And the opposite side of Cancer is, or sign, is Capricorn. So 19 degrees Capricorn. So we'll keep it simple, folks. So we just start with just the degrees of 90 degree and the opposition. Whenever those, now you look for, what are you looking for those degrees? Why? Good point. We're looking at transits for one. They're the easiest, actually, if you're not familiar or accustomed to other predictions or timing aspects, which would be solar arcs is another one. Progressions is another one. You're going to look at that. And those are other techniques. So you can look at even eclipses. I would encourage, if those eclipses come near, and I'm going to say about 5 degrees. I'm getting a little ahead of myself in this process, but we'll just stick with transits right now. And you can eventually build up to lunations, which is the eclipses. And also, if you want to look at full moons, there's a variety of subjects that we can look at. And when you see a transit, now this is going to happen by the sun, by the way. The sun and the moon will make that degree. The moon will make it more frequently because it once a month it becomes a degree will touch that degree conjuncted, meaning going over that or conjoin it, and it will be on that degree of 19 degrees. Once a month, the moon will be in Cancer, and once a year, the sun will be in Cancer. So you look at those two timing techniques. Now, when you're looking at certain things, like, and then you're going to write down on a list to have fun with it, you're going to back test this, meaning that in your life, you want to look at certain events. Marriage is one of them. If you had a medical situation, crisis, that can be definitely a one. When you're traveling overseas or a long distance, and that can be also from nationwide. You can go from one side, if you're on the east side, you go to the west side, and vice versa. That can be equivalent to a long distance journey. Now, these are another incident. Now, marriage. If you're, you know, have married now or have been, look at the date, because that's going to have another aspect to it. So these are kind of things we're going to look for the short. Now we're going to take these baby steps right now because these are the things I want you to work with just to get acclimated of looking at that. And once you start looking at that, you're going to look for transits. Now there is another one for those who want to go for a little extra ump. It is the daily transit or the daily movement of the sign, or not the sign, the houses, the rising sign or the ascendant, wherever you at currently. It changes every approximately, most signs, 2 hours per day. So you'll look for when Cancer is actually um, either in the season of the sun, which is a double dose sun, and the moving diurnal, which it would be more of a calling the movement of a daily motion, 24 hours approximately. The ascendant will go through all the 360 degrees. So this is why we're starting also with the 360 degrees. So I like to say now, take note of this and do those. That could be the first homework assignment. Now, if we're in this, and come back, and if you have any comments, write them in the comments or anything like that. And please, if you like so far what I'm doing, please like and subscribe if you haven't. So, and that's not required, but it would be greatly appreciated because we know how the algorithms work here. So, on that note, I'm going to let you enjoy and process what you have. And until next time, peace.